So we're in the middle of a conversation about Rogue Tower, so we're just going to continue that. Just since we've gone live, I'm letting people know. I was playing Saturday, and I had a run where I got to the level 26 before the path ever split.
Ooh.
Yeah, and also it all looped back around on itself. So it was choice, and I beat the game.
Nice.
Yeah,
How
I got super lucky.
how many levels are there to beat it?
45.
All right.
At the level 45, and that beat the game. Uh, and I was messaging David about it.
Mm-hmm.
that whole last hour or so as I was completing my run.
I know. I
Take,
was trying to watch it, and he wouldn't click the allow broadcast thing.
I didn't know how to do it. Did you ever finally get to it?
No, you have to approve it.
I did. I did finally approve it.
Oh, I think I've lost interest.
Yeah,
I
probably.
was like, he's probably just gonna fucking ignore me.
No, I was trying. I just didn't. I've never done that before. So, but I was taking screenshots of it. So, let me see if I can find those.
What I find incredibly frustrating is that I have looked at the map of your whatever, like your winning game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have so many fewer towers than I have.
It's a lot of it was just the placement and how they kept looping back on itself. Like the path just kept looping back on itself.
But like double the towers. There's just no conceivable way. I just don't get it. Like, are you doing a lot of manual upgrades to your towers?
I was doing some, but also had the upgraded stuff on all of them too.
Yeah, from the cards. But I'm talking like the manual level upgrades.
I did some, but the thing is early on they would get the dudes would get really far in, so like it was killing a lot, and I just left those towers there. I didn't. I like the towers later in the game where I put them really sparse towards where the monsters were coming in. So like it just kept upgrading the towers that I had.
What's this?
Let me see. Let me see if I can
upgrade.
You click on the tower.
Mm-hmm. See, that was my winning map, Mitch.
Oh yeah, that is a good loop there.
Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
loop.
Ridiculous how it just kept looping back on itself. So
I also don't use nearly the amount of mines.
I use mines just because especially toward the end, I got really worried that I would just get ganged up on.
Those dumb missile guys.
Yeah, and the thing is my tower never took a hit.
So, did you put houses next to houses? What is that?
Those are mana houses.
Does it work? Do the houses count them as defending them?
I have no idea.
They do not.
but at the point when I was placing those, nothing I wasn't putting anything new back this far.
Mm-hmm.
So I just needed a place to put them. I had those the particle beams, and those take up an incredible amount of mana. So that's why I had to keep dropping the.
How many particle beams are you using?
I used about 4 or 5.
Okay, because those are the ones that it's like 14 mana a shot.
Yes. Yeah. And it wasn't until I got to here, right there, that it split for the first time.
So why does that one have the portal?
So turns out if it ever gets to a situation where if it loops back on itself, and there's nowhere for the monsters to come out of,
Yeah,
they come out of a portal.
I've seen that, but like,
Okay, so this is, if you look, there are no open ends.
oh,
Yeah.
this is the end game.
This
Yeah,
is
40,
the end
they
game.
should all end in portals.
Yep.
I
What
see.
happens is when you get down to the last, like however many, like I think after level 40 for me, every new expansion I got dropped a portal because there were 5 openings. So
I see. I got you.
yeah. I also did this for the first time, which was I did the research,
Oh, universities.
the universities. I don't know how much it helped, but it, like, I was just spending a shit ton of gold. Like I was looking for things to spend gold on at that point. But also you can see, like, I ganged up a lot of the landmines, the encampments, which drop the landmines. So for me, really all I used were the ballistas, mortars, shredders, landmines, and the particle weapons.
God, you don't use poison?
Yeah, I do on my ballista,
Oh.
because I've upgraded all that stuff so that, like, I'm poisoning and bleeding and firing with everything.
Yeah, but the poison sprayers are AoE poison.
Yeah. I've never purchased a poison sprayer.
Oh my god, that's wild.
I have purchased flamethrowers and found them to be, I mean, they were fine, but didn't really give me what I was looking for.
Well, I mean, the deal with the shredders, flamethrowers, and poison sprayers is that they each, like, shredders do health, flamethrowers do shields, and poison does armor.
Yep.
So, like, combined, the 3 of them are all dots for the different, like, health types.
More dots.
Yeah, you can also
More dots.
upgrade
Your ballistas to do all that.
to do all that.
Also, your other ones, but then, like, you have to rely on the RNG to get it, and then you have to get pretty far down the ballista chain before you can.
Yeah.
And it's also crazy to me that you don't do house protection.
That's, like, I had, by limiting just to those things, I, like, everything was doing a ton of damage to other stuff.
It's also crazy to me that you don't have planes.
I have not upgraded to be able to get planes.
Oh my god. House protection for me is okay. So if you see, like, you got to figure the monster rate is about the same, right? House protection, if you stack your ballistas on the houses around your tower in the beginning,
Yep.
at level 40, house protection money will be about 50% of that total, and the monster total won't be different level to level, right?
Right.
Like, there's just so much money from that house protection, like, over time. So much money.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I do is I try to put all my early game stuff elevated, because it gives you more range and more damage.
Yeah.
So.
And do you use banditry?
No.
Oh, I do that.
Banditry is a nightmare. Are you kidding me?
So much more money.
It's so much more money, but my problem is the people are too fast to begin with. I've got stacked so much slow on everything I own just to keep them from getting to the tower at all.
Wait, yeah. I think banditry. No, that's the lifesteal makes them faster. I think banditry makes them hurt the tower more.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep. So.
So, like, I just don't let them get to the tower. That's what you should do. That's what I recommend. Don't let them get to the tower.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Well, I mean,
stats.
that's what I ended up doing. It turns out that's how I won. I mean, I don't think I played nearly as much as David had when I got to the point when I won.
I can almost guarantee you have not.
The thing is, I mean, 100% the reason I won is because of that map.
Tony, I'm at 64 hours.
I am not. Though Saturday I did leave my game running like for a while just because I didn't know if I closed it, if I would lose it. And I was
lose it.
Yeah, I was doing so good, and like we were getting ready to go to dinner, and I'm like, I am not losing this, because I was at level like 38, 39, something like that. I'm like, I'm not stopping. I'm not quitting this game at this point.
You have played 12 hours.
Yep. And probably 3 or 4 of that was just me letting the game run.
God damn
it. I have tried the double and triple starting maps. Oh man, that is a completely different game. Have you tried those yet?
Yeah, I got to level 4. I got to the same level.
Really?
Yeah, for me, actually, I think on the double, I only got to like level 10. I was like, this sucks. And then I think I accidentally did the triple. And then I was like, I'll just play till I die. And then I got to level 40. I'm like, well, what the fuck? This is the exact same thing as the single.
No, I get to level 15. Like as soon as I get the first Oogie come out, like he trashed me just because it wasn't far enough away.
Yeah.
Because it came out in one of the really close paths, and it was just like I can't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I use those planes for. Because like a single plane will shred that thing in like 5 passes. Yeah, no, the planes are killer. But the problem with the planes is that you can't control them at all.
Oh.
So like they fly around the map, and they'll only shoot things. They only will shoot things in a strafing run, which means that they have to line up and do a strafing run, and then they'll like fly around for a bunch of time, line it up, and then
can you give them priority?
Yep.
Like you can give other things priority?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the other thing I did was I was giving stuff priority. That helped a lot, especially with the particle cannons.
Yeah.
I just gave for those, I just set priority to always be the most health. Most health, most armor. Most health, most armor, most shields. By that point, I had like 4 of them, so I put 1 to most health, 1 to most armor, and 1 to most shields. And also it had like the 10 range boost. So with the way that map kept looping back on itself, those particle cannons pretty much could hit anything on the map all the time because the range is just ridiculous.
Sure.
But yeah, Mitch, you can absolutely manually upgrade the towers just by clicking on them.
And what's that do?
So all your towers have a base damage, right? And that base damage is some number plus the elevation. Okay, and then have you seen how the towers gain experience?
Yeah.
Also, the experience thing works weird, and that is it gains experience attacking health, armor, or shields based on what the tower is targeting, not what it's shooting at. Okay, and so there's an independent bar for each one, and every time the bar gains a level, your tower goes up in level, and the level of the thing it's attacking is a multiplier off the base damage.
So what does manually leveling do?
Makes it like you'll pick one of those 3 and you'll click it, and it'll increase the multiplier of damage for that type.
Oh, like it's just going for armor.
Yeah.
Or health, or
or shields.
And what's the default?
The default target is the furthest monster on the path towards the tower.
Yeah,
right.
It's priority. It's progress. I'm sorry, it's progress. Yeah.
So you mean like you're talking about like setting targeting?
Yes, but that's how the leveling works too.
I see.
So it targets the first monster, and whatever the first monster's highest level health stat is the experience it's gaining.
I got you.
Also, the way when you manually upgrade, it becomes cheaper to manually upgrade the closer you get to leveling up. Like if you can sit there and watch the cost go down on the tower. You can click on the tower and watch it, and you can watch the cost actually tick down as it's gaining more experience before it levels up. You can force it to say, I want to level up now, and you're paying a cost. The closer you get to it being leveled, the cheaper it is.
Oh, in gold, like you pay gold,
yeah.
to like get a level on tower.
Yep,
got it.
Yeah, which I actually use that when like I would manually upgrade more mid game when like you're not getting quite enough gold to buy towers, but you have a lot of gold. Like objectively, you have a lot of gold, but if you don't have towers to spend it on that are cheap enough, like so that's when I would upgrade some things and just kind of. Normally, I would do that depending on like the path placement. When you start splitting paths, and it's like, oh shit, stuff's coming out of this one, and I don't want it to. Throw some more things onto that path.
Yeah, I think that's where the poison sprayer comes in, because it the upgrade that slows with the poison. You pop down a poison sprayer at the beginning of the path, and it'll slow down. It'll streamline a little bit the throughput of monsters.
Yep.
I think the only targeting changes I did is the stuff near the tower I set to shoot near death.
Yeah.
And then like stuff before kill corridors I set to target fastest. So like slow things down and then target different things to slow them down too.
Yeah, I would do that also. I would when it got into those kill corridors that I had, I would change up the targeting. Some things I would set to fastest, some things I would set to most health, some to most armor, some to most shields, just to really focus fire on certain things as they came through. I did that with mortars and with the particle cannons.
Yeah, you have to do it with the mortars, because if you put it on progress from mortars, it never hits.
Yeah, well, the problem is it shoots, and by the time it lands, the ballista has taken out the fastest thing, so it's landing way ahead of everything.
Yeah, so it's almost never worth it. So it's almost always worth it to do the most health or whatever on the mortars, just because they won't hit otherwise.
I would think maybe even targeting slowest on that might be helpful too, because it tends to not be the things right in the front line.
Yeah,
and those tend to be the tougher, like I don't know what I don't know what each of the monsters are. It's I guess like they look like rams that when you kill it, like multiple monsters come out of it.
Yeah, those high armor things.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. It's a fun game. I've been enjoying it. I did get to level 25 on the 2 entrance. The 3 entrance, I can only get to level 15.
I wonder if they'll make a movie adaptation of this game.
Oh,
I'm hoping.
Look at Mitch with the transition.
Speaking of transitioning, let's transition into this episode.
Hey, this is Tony.
Oh, this is Mitch.
And this is David.
And we are the Backseat Producers. Womp womp. Did we decide what we're talking about next week? You had suggested something, David.
I did. I suggested Big Bug.
Oh, yeah. I watched the first half of that on Netflix.
Is it weird?
It is really weird.
And
Excellent. Also, to be fair, I was in a bit of an altered state. So it was about this halfway point where I realized this was a French film. I was watching it dubbed into English, and that's why none of their things lined up.
You just thought it was you?
I thought it might have been a choice.
Well,
Oh, we'll talk about that next week.
yeah, it's from the same dude who did the dude Amelie, so I think it proves.
Oh yeah,
And I watched the trailer, and it looks very weird.
yeah. I watched the trailer after you posted that, so
It looks very weird.
I'm cool with very weird.
Mhm.
And Amelie was really good.
Yeah.
Yep. I show a movie in my psychology on film class that has the girl from Amelie, Audrey Tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
in it, called "He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not." It's a wild, I guess, thriller where she's having an affair with this married cardiologist. And so, but it's like 3 movies in one. The first third of the movie is sort of like her perspective of what's going on. And like you get this impression this dude is like not treating her well, but she's also a little bit like too about him.
Sure.
And then the second third of the movie is his perspective, what's going on. And then it's like, wait, what? And then there's like this final third where it's very tense for like the rest of it. It's a lot of fun. It's so good that I'm surprised they didn't do an American remake. It seems like that's the thing we do.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in. David, what do you think of the movie? By the way, Werewolves Within is the name of the movie we're talking about this evening.
I actually like this movie. I enjoyed watching this movie.
Mitch?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had low expectations going in, and it was delightful. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo what you guys said. I had a lot of fun with it. My expectations weren't super high, but I had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked a lot of people in this movie.
Yeah, I recognize an incredible amount of them.
Yeah. Well, I thought Sam Richardson was just so funny in his like delivery of his lines, and oh man, this guy.
Yeah, no, he's really good. And he and Milana Weintraub have a good on-screen chemistry.
They do.
Like a good comedic timing chemistry.
They played off of each other really well.
Yeah, they got a good something. They got a good like energy deal going on.
Yeah, all of the scenes where it was the two of them, I was like, oh yeah, like I mean, it was great. They just brought me in with them. That's good. And so I guess like it's a video game adaptation for a game that I had never heard of.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. And what's funny is, so when I post these episodes, it gives me the opportunity to put an image in front of it. So for the placeholder for Facebook and YouTube for the video, and I always go out and find a widescreen image because it fits nicely with both of those placeholders. And I looked up, tried to find Werewolves Within images, and most of them were based on the video game. I'm like, boy, that's a really weird movie poster for this movie. Oh, wait, no, this is based on a game.
And the game looks like it's just Werewolf.
It is, yeah. Just in the VR.
Which is okay.
Yep. But I've seen a lot of video game adaptations, and there's very few that are fun to watch.
Ooh.
Like maybe Sonic.
I couldn't do that.
I have not seen Sonic.
I couldn't do it. I love Ben Schwartz, and I couldn't do it. Not even John Ralphio could get me to Sonic.
Ooh.
I liked Warcraft.
I did like Warcraft.
Sure.
That was a fun movie. It wasn't a great film, but it was a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I liked Resident Evil a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't seen that.
I liked Silent Hill a lot.
I haven't seen that one either. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. And I don't play those games either.
Mhm.
Like the games that I don't know, it feels like they rely on jump scares
They
for
do.
some of their tension. It's like that doesn't interest me. In my video games. So like I had no interest in the properties to follow him to the movies.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list of video game movies. Prince of Persia was a disappointment.
Oof.
Didn't see it.
And The Sands of Time is such a really good game. It's a really good game.
It was.
Pop set's very good.
It's funny we're talking about video game movies because doesn't Uncharted come out this weekend?
Yep.
You know, maybe those Pikachu movies. I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. I'm so sorry. Those Pokemon movies, and Detective Pikachu. That was fun to watch.
Pikachu.
I like Detective Pikachu. There's the video game movie that's not actually based on a video game. Free Guy.
Yeah.
Free Guy is
I
fantastic.
didn't see it.
Really? It's coming out soon on Disney Plus. It's worth your time.
Yeah,
it's fun. Well, and then there's Tron, which is.
Is a video game based on the movie?
It is. It is a movie based around video games, but then they had video games that are based on the movie property. So they had coin op and console games from that. The Last Starfighter, which is
again
it relies on video games.
Like the first one I remember seeing that was a game that I played and then they made a movie of it was the Mario Brothers one.
Yeah.
It was real weird.
Yep.
Yes, which on this list here is the first one that is listed as a video game adaptation.
That sounds right, just from my memory. I don't think there were any others before that.
If you had to guess, Tony, without looking at this list.
And I'm not, by the way.
Okay. How much more money do you think the Super Mario Brothers movie made in the worldwide box office than Werewolves Within? I'll even give you a hint in that Werewolves Within did not make as much money.
Huh. How much more money?
Let's go with an even number factor.
All right, let's so an even number factor. 10 million.
That's not a factor.
Oh.
If I were to multiply the amount of money Werewolves Within made by X number.
A multiple. Let's say 32 times more.
That's not bad, Tony. That's not bad. So according to this Wikipedia page, the worldwide box office for Super Mario Brothers was 39 million. And Werewolves Within was 937,000.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's international box office in 2001. That's a rough sell for a movie that isn't a huge property and doesn't have a lot of big name talent.
Can you sort that list by Rotten Tomatoes score?
Ooh.
Oh my God, you can. Are you looking for highest? Highest though? What? This movie has the highest Rotten Tomatoes score.
That's not a surprise.
By a lot.
I'm not surprised. I mean, thinking of other video game movies,
The next one
mean-
down is Detective Pikachu.
That's not a surprise either. Honestly,
No, I'm surprised
I
it's
am
rated
not
higher than Detective Pikachu.
I'm not.
This was a big draw.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's Rotten Tomatoes, which means it's critical review. So that's not a surprise. I can see this being more critic friendly than most video game movies. Just by content.
Yeah, even with the shit budget, it actually was like a much better movie.
Yeah. I didn't need a bigger budget. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
nope.
the material, the IP itself doesn't lend itself to, I mean, unless you wanted to go crazy with gore effects or werewolf transformations or
Well, and
I
I
mean,
thought
even the explosion they did, like the way they did it, I'm like, that was purely for budget, but that was perfect. Like it was absolutely the perfect way to do it. Plus, it gives
Budget-
you a sense of the kind of the isolation, just how far in the middle of nowhere that place was.
Budget of $6.5 million.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that all goes to Harvey Gilliam, right? Like Guillermo was
Guillermo. Yeah.
it was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, between him and Cheyenne Jackson, those two together were fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There were a number of couples in the like the way the characters were cast. There were a number of couples. The couples all played off of each other very well. Like they were well cast as those couples because it's what 4? I mean 5. Spoiler if you count the the chemistry between the two leads.
Yeah, so one of my favorite like moments in the movie is one of those like other people who I hadn't seen before. He was the dude who was like the trashy guy. I don't know. I don't remember what his job was. Like he had a truck maybe, and he was the sort. I don't know how to describe him as a
Yeah.
character.
I believe that is George Basil.
Uh-huh. I think Marcus was his character's name.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a bit where someone else has had their hand bitten off by a werewolf.
Yeah.
And he's like, can someone help me look for my hand? And he's like, yo, we got you, bro. Like, he was just like so ready to look for this guy's hand. He's like, bro asks for help. You can help that bro. Like, he's just like in it. Hit me so well.
Okay, yeah. I've seen him before.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I know for sure he was in Silicon Valley
He
for
was
a
in an
couple
episode.
episodes. Just
An
one.
episode, just one. Yeah. He was in Wrecked, which was a fun series. Just goofy fun.
Well, and the way that all of them, because there are many scenes, because it is like a game of werewolf. There's like many scenes where they're in a room discussing a thing, right? And the way they played off each other, I thought was great. Like I don't know if all of these people have some improv background or what they're steeped in, because like it seemed very authentic the way they bounced off each other in those bits.
Yeah, and even for the size of the cast, like the number of characters, like I never felt the motivations were shoehorned in. Like I mean, there were some weird fucking characters. Like those characters were weird. But like the motivations for the reason they were all there and the reason they had tension with each other, I mean, it all worked.
Yeah, I'm not exactly certain what the setting was supposed to be. Like, I don't remember where they were in the world. They're in like...
It felt Alaska-ish, but maybe not that far north. I'm not sure.
Oh no, it was it says in the movie.
It
I
does.
know they do.
I thought it was like Minnesota.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it was some northern area. It's in the winter. And it just has that sort of like rustic country feel where
Yeah.
you got a town of people who want to be away from anyone who would care what they are doing. So it's a lot of weirdos who have
Mhm.
just like fallen there. So like Alaska makes sense, or like or Minnesota, or any North Dakota, any of that kind of place. And I thought like that was cool because like you said, the characters were oddballs and they were weird and they were different enough from each other to keep them distinct when there's this sort of big cast.
It was Vermont.
There's Vermont.
Yeah, because I keep looking at the map.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. And it was they were weirdos.
They were weirdos.
It also helped with a cast of relative unknowns. Because if you don't know the actors, it's hard to keep placing them in a large cast. Where it's like, oh yeah, there's Michael Keaton again, there's Ben Affleck again. You recognize the bigger people. I mean, I recognize quite a few of these people, but having the weird oddball characters helped.
Yeah.
And it was essentially all like within this one location of this relatively small town. And then we spent a lot of time in the inn that's in the town, and so it's like a bottle. So
Yeah.
good for budget.
Yep.
I always felt like I knew where things were.
And I don't know that the dialogue was particularly well written, but it was very well delivered.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Even when it was not stellar, they made it work well.
Yeah.
And I particularly loved the dialogue from the female lead, Milana. Is that her name? Yeah.
Milana Weintraub.
Because it had like this like upbeat desperation to it, which tickled me every time.
Yeah. What I found really funny was in the scenes where they're gathering and trying to figure out what's going on, and they're all, it's if you've played Werewolf, there's those times when everybody gets together and the accusation and finger pointing starts. Spoilers, one of them is a werewolf, and it's Milana, and I'm trying to remember her character's name now.
Cecily.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep. Cecily. I didn't know, but like I started like figuring out, it's like, all right, Cecily's the werewolf. And I started watching those scenes very carefully, and having played the game enough where you're looking for people who are doing certain things that become suspicious. She played it how a good player plays the game, which is everybody's yelling at each other and she's just eyes darting around the room like, oh yeah, you're right, without saying a word. She did not say anything in those scenes until somebody accused her, and she immediately just launched right back and attacked the person, like verbally attacked, like, how dare you come after me of all people. It's like, I've played this game enough to know you were acting very suspicious right now. Like as a player of that type of game, it was fun to watch because they, being the werewolf, she played it the kind of the way you expect that person would. So that was really fun. And it confirmed it, but it confirmed it in a fun way, because knowing it's about a video game, like they took that meta aspect of the game and included it in the character interactions. So I dug that.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't look it up. Did the person who write this write anything else? No, they didn't. This is it.
Mishnah Wolf.
Yeah.
They were an actress in something called Limp.
And eat my podcast.
Sure. I mean, it's possible they only hired them because their last name was Wolf.
Right?
I mean, they had a low budget, and I mean, it worked out. So good job.
Shit just writes itself.
An additional crew as a character model in Max Payne 2. The Fall of Max
saw
Payne.
that. I just saw that.
Oh, well, good job, Mishnah.
The director was an actor in Eat Shit Kenny Daniels, a podcast series.
Sure.
A lot of these people are College Humor alum, it looks like.
It did seem
Yeah.
like a.
Which
And-
feels right.
Yeah, it does. Which is probably
Mhm.
they probably had a lot of chemistry built in from that.
Yep.
The director also directed. Oh, it's a podcast series, The Last Degree of Kevin Bacon. I want that to be the story of his PhD.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Bacon.
Dr. Bacon. Kevin
Wait a
Bacon
minute.
was in this show called The Following a couple years ago.
I remember
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
Okay, so the best thing about that show is he plays this FBI agent and he's trying to capture this serial killer dude. But, like, he just unnecessarily executes several people an episode. And
Mhm.
so, like, by midway through the season, all the people that the dude he's trying to catch has allegedly killed. We're pretty sure Kevin Bacon has killed more people during the course of the season than this dude he's trying to catch. So the big joke when we were watching it was, what's Kevin Bacon's kill count gonna be tonight?
Oh, Mishnah Wolf had been was married to Mark Maron. And their divorce, the subject of his show. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Well,
All right then.
Mm-hmm. So it's comedy people got together, made this movie for cheap. So no wonder it was so fun.
yeah. You could
That-
also tell that people were enjoying doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably a fun set.
Oh, I can imagine. I did notice one of the pieces of trivia about the movie is when he goes to the jukebox and he punches in 1993. That's the number he punches in.
Mhm.
And The Sign by Ace of Base starts playing, and it was released in 1993. Nice little piece of trivia. There wasn't a tremendous amount of trivia.
Which doesn't surprise me. This wasn't a super complicated movie. I don't
No.
think.
No.
Or
One of them was that principal photography began in February of 2020, a month before the pandemic.
ooh,
Yeah.
timing.
I
So
wonder how long it took to just shoot this thing end to end.
I don't know.
Because I don't feel like it could have been that long. I mean, most of the characters don't even change out of the same set of clothes.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like, did they shoot from when they started to shoot through, or did they have a COVID break?
I'm not sure. There's not a whole lot of information.
Because I don't think it came out in 2020.
Came out in it according well, this is all before the release. It is scheduled to be released in a limited release on June 25th, 2021 was its theatrical release, and was video on demand on July 2nd, 2021, so a week later.
Oh. Man. I mean, this movie was so fun that I would recommend it to people to
Yep.
watch it. Yeah, check this out.
Oh yeah, it was good fun.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm gonna recommend my daughter at when the next time their friends over, like sleepover, because they all get into Among Us.
Sure.
I'm like, this is as close to an Among Us movie as you're gonna get
Yep.
in the near term, because it all uses the same social dynamic.
Yeah, that social deduction.
Yep.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, and if I sold it to them that way, I'm sure they'd get it. Plus werewolves,
Yep.
I mean,
That's how I sold it to my kids.
Yeah.
The first movie, word in the title of the movie is werewolves.
Yep.
And if that doesn't get you, Within will.
Right.
We're not watching Werewolves Without.
Nope.
Yeah. Or like, my kids love Clue.
Yep.
Yeah, this movie's that same kind of thing. Trapped in a bottle, figuring out who did it. Lots of running around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good comedic whodunit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, I don't, they say comedy horror. There wasn't a whole lot of like horrorness to it.
No.
Not like something like Shaun of the Dead, which,
right.
comedy horror that's both a horror and a comedy. This is mainly this comedy had the horror in the background.
I mean, I think the most gruesome thing was the dude getting shot in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the one that sticks out the most to me now that I think about it. Like, as far as the holy shit, was it the dude or was it the chick?
She ran over him and then got shot.
Oh, that's right. She got she got shot. That's right. Yeah, that little 5-second sequence was pretty intense. It was like a Tarantino moment. Almost.
The only problem is I don't have a ton to say about this movie that we haven't already said.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place.
So the end of it is fun.
It was a fun movie. Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah,
worth the watch.
Absolutely, and not a incredible time commitment either. I mean, it's
not after last week's 2.5 hours.
No,
that was the appropriate palate cleanser.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways.
I did not find this movie to be Oscar bait.
No, not in the least. It says the runtime is 1 hour 37, but that's probably a whole lot closer to 1 hour 30.
Yeah, it was a pretty tight 90.
The credits, once you cut out the credits.
Speaking of the Oscar nominations,
yeah, what is that?
They were announced last week.
That's true. They were.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do all 10 for Best Picture?
They certainly did.
Oh.
Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. That's a bad list.
It's
not a great list.
I don't know how anyone in their right mind nominates Dune.
Huh.
Like it's a fine movie.
I do. It's because Dune is the exact reason they have 10 movies that they nominate, but I don't understand why Spider-Man doesn't get a nomination. Like I honestly don't understand that. With this list, I don't understand how Spider-Man doesn't get a nomination.
I mean, looking at this list, I would assume that only 15 movies got made last year. Like, Don't Look Up. Why is that on a list?
I don't know, but I saw an article that said it should win Best Picture, and I cannot agree
Really?
with that. I
That
cannot
is
agree with that.
insane.
I enjoyed watching the movie. I cannot see that as Best Picture.
I understand why Nightmare Alley is on this list.
Sure.
That makes sense to me. I don't
Yep.
think it should win because it was boring as fuck, but I get it. I don't understand why West Side Story is on this list.
We've
It
already done
cannot. It's the same fucking story. It's the same
because-
West Side Story we've
It's
had
because
for
Steven
50
Spielberg.
years.
It's because
There you go.
Steven Spielberg made it. That's why it's on the list.
I don't understand what Steven Spielberg can do just basically whatever he wants, right? No one's gonna be like, okay, Spielberg, we don't need you making a movie, okay? So what possessed him to wake up one morning and he's like, you know what I want to do? West Side Story. That's a project I'm passionate about. A story that's already been done like 15 times. I keep saying that, but I don't think that that's actually true. I think it's only been done once.
Well, there's the stage show of it, but
Yeah,
Sure.
but I mean, as a film,
it's only been.
Oh,
I think there may have been a television
movies.
thing of it.
Yeah, I also think there was a television thing. It's just, but it's the same thing. Someone else has already like.
Yeah.
It's like there's no creative interpretation of West Side Story. It's the same shit.
Many of those I haven't seen either. I didn't see Licorice Pizza. That's the Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep. Yeah, that's of these. That was the one. That's the only other one on the list that I'm moderately interested in seeing. Though I've heard a lot of good chatter around the Power of the Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly know nothing about the movie.
Is it a Western?
I could not tell you even that.
I thought that was the Western that had Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And then a bunch of other folk.
Yeah, also a bunch of other folk.
All right. Well, I guess I want to see that.
Yeah, I also heard good things about Belfast.
Yeah, same.
I have no interest in Coda, which is I think about the deaf drummer. Is that the?
No.
Nope. That was the thing that was last year's thing, wasn't it?
That was last year's thing.
Yeah.
And that was a good movie. I actually really enjoyed that movie. This is the only hearing person in her deaf family.
Oh. Oh, Child of Deaf Adults is Coda.
Yeah. I've heard King Richard is good.
I have a problem with that movie.
Why?
I have a problem with a movie that should be about Venus and Serena, but they're making it about their dad.
There's a lot of stuff going on with that, though.
I'm sure. I haven't seen the movie, and I don't have a tremendous amount of interest in seeing the movie.
Because black fathers are traditionally marginalized as being terrible.
Well, that's true.
And also, I don't know how much you know about it, but that dude did some bulldogging. I saw a clip of some interview they were doing with Venus or Serena when they were, I don't know, younger.
Mm-hmm.
And like the interviewer asked some dumbass question, and then like he bulldogs his ass. He bulldogs his ass hard.
All right, I'm now interested
Yeah.
to check out some of these then.
Yeah, so I actually do want to see that.
Are there any surprises elsewhere in the nominations?
I'm looking up Drive My Car because I'd never heard of that. It's a Japanese film. Trying to get the actual story.
An aging widowed actor seeks a chauffeur. The actor turns to his go-to mechanic, who ends up recommending a 20-year-old girl. Despite their initial misgivings, a very special relationship develops between the two. Driving Miss Daisy feel to me.
It sounds like she is maybe inspiring stories that he's working on as a screenwriter. I don't know. I'm just skimming the Wikipedia page, and the plot is like 6 paragraphs long. So I'm just skimming, trying to get a feel for it.
Yeah, that smells like spoiler territory to me.
Yeah.
I go to the TLDR
Yeah.
version.
Given just a little bit I'm seeing about it, it seems like if I were attending a Best Picture showcase, that'd be one of the ones I'd really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it sounds like one of the ones I wouldn't normally seek out, so therefore I'd want to see it something like this.
Sure.
Uh,
Let's see.
Coda, Belfast, Drive My Car, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog. I mean, Power of the Dog. If it's a Western, then I'd probably watch that anyway.
Yeah,
it is a Western.
I wouldn't feel good about West Side Story.
What about
King Richard? I'd watch Dune again. I really like Dune. I don't think it should win any awards like this, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again. It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
It's long and pretty and big.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing about Dune is that if any of these movies have super serious, heavy subject matter, Dune would be a nice palate cleanser from something like that. Because there was one year, God, I don't remember all the movies I watched, but I swear after about the 4th movie, I was about just ready to open my wrist. I mean, it was just one super depressing movie after another.
What they got in Best Animated Feature?
Oh, I am excited for this one. I mean, Encanto is going to win for sure.
I hope not. Honestly, I hope not. Given some of the other choices.
But God, The Mitchells vs. the Machines was so good.
Oh yeah,
It was.
Oh God, it was
like,
so
just
good.
It really was.
Good as a movie, not just good as a kids movie.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm really curious about Flea, which is one of the other ones that is nominated. Like I'd never heard of it, so I looked it up. And it is an animated documentary. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Child's Refugee.
So, Encanto, Luca, The Mitchells versus the Machines, Raya and the Last Dragon, and Flea.
Well, 3 Disney properties.
Surprise.
Ooh. Look, Encanto's like great and all. It's got a great soundtrack, but the story is a little bit sloppy. Like I'm not sure like what's going on with a lot of the stuff happening. Why do they even have a shape-changing kid? He doesn't do anything. That was weird. Right?
A chick can hear everything in the town. That is a horror story. She can literally hear everyone in the town shitting and fucking all the time. She never doesn't hear her parents fuck.
Well, you see, I assume that her power isn't that her ears work well. It's that she can decide to hear something. Because it's a miracle, right? It's not science. It's not like her ears just pick up sounds, or else like people talking at a normal volume would hurt her. Right? So I think she just decides, I want to hear what this is going on, and she can hear it. She doesn't hear everything always.
Oh no, I think she hears everything always. Because the chicken like summons storms with her mood. She doesn't get to pick when the storms come. She hears Bruno.
Right.
So it's not like she's deciding what she... Mitch died.
What?
No, you froze.
Oh, I'm back.
I think that she... I don't think she can decide. The only thing I would accept is that she doesn't hear it when she's in her special room.
Yeah. But it's like what you said. That would just be... It would be madness.
It would be a nightmare.
There'd be no secrets about anything. And like, how could she keep straight when someone's talking directly to her? Because all of the noise.
Mm-hmm. It would be impossible to lie to her if any noise would have just, you know what I mean? Like, I heard you not do that thing you just said you did.
Mm-hmm.
You could never talk about her to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that bugged me was, why did Lucia need to carry anything once she was on the property of the house? There was never a need for her to ever carry anything as soon as she set foot on the property,
Because
because the house would just move things around. Like, boy, if the house is just a dick to Lucia, like everybody else, it's physically picking them up and moving them around.
Well, and the house like puts me in mind of a problem I thought about with Herbie the Love Bug. Like, what part of the house is its consciousness? Like, if you break a tile off, does that tile still animated? If it goes some distance from the house, does that become a normal tile? When does something in the house become part of the house? Like, this is the sort of existential questions I have about Encanto.
No, those are good questions.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
So anyway, I still feel like that's
So
gonna
sloppy.
win, but
Yeah, but it's got a great soundtrack.
because there was been a lot of jerking off about Encanto this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, I think it's just from parents who can't stop hearing the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's a lot of recency bias with that too.
But I liked Luca and Raya as well. Those were fun to watch.
I didn't see Raya.
Oh, yeah, Aquafina's in it.
Yeah,
she's a treat.
I liked. Well, Raya was one of the ones that Disney did the pay extra to see it on Disney
Mhm.
Plus, and then when it was suddenly on Disney Plus, it was kind of a non, like it didn't make a real big splash in our house, so like we just didn't get around to watching it.
It passed its moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope Mitchell's versus Machine's a real contender because I really liked that.
Yeah,
Really good.
I did too. All of them have good stories that the Oscars like to give it to causes du jour. And I don't know what the cause du jour is for this year that would elevate it like one of these above the others. Like all of them have potential causes that could elevate it beyond just the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
This is also why I think Don't Look Up has a good chance of winning. Because one of the, like, if you look at trends in Oscar films, at least in Oscar nominations, there's typically a film that has a large ensemble cast. And it's like that film gets it gets elevated because it has a large ensemble cast. Like, oh, there's a bunch of people that like all the bunch of people that are in this movie, so they get votes from the Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And because, of course, at least the actors would want to see movies where a lot of actors get to work. At least I would think that,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a couple of years where a big ensemble movie that wasn't the best film won because it had a big ensemble. It's been years now. I'm not thinking.
Yeah, Return of the King.
Well, yeah, that one.
Oh, did you see the teaser for the Amazon show?
I did.
I have no interest in that shit.
I do.
Well then, yeah, more for me.
And they announced the War of the Rohirrim,
Oh,
the movie for 2024, and it's being made by the same, like, some of the same people who were involved in the Peter Jackson movies are, and he's not going to direct it. But Philippa Gregory is going to be part of the writing of it.
Cool.
If not the writer. I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's fun. I'll be in for that too.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for all that stuff. Let's see if they, maybe don't look up if they were trying to make like a political statement, like, oh, this will upset the other team.
Perhaps.
Oh, I had that hope for getting rid of daylight savings time or always being on daylight. I don't know. Getting rid of time changes as a potential in Missouri. There's been some talk about it.
Really?
But, like, I think it would hurt most Kansas City and St. Louis, who are at borders with other states, and where, all the money and commerce is. And since those are the big blue gyms of Missouri, perhaps they will stick it to the libs and get rid of daylight savings time.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, that's fine. I just don't want to change my clock. Like, okay, whatever we got to do.
Arizona seems to get along just fine.
And where I grew up in Indiana, we didn't change our clocks, but people like an hour away from us did. So that was weird. So half the year we'd be on the same time, and then half the year we'd be separate.
That's funny.
It is, right? And we had broadcast affiliates from both sides, so you could watch a show on NBC and then switch to the other NBC and watch it again an hour later.
Wow. That's weird considering it should be all at the same time. That's strange.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I was like, okay, there's a place half an hour away that is 1 hour behind us. So we'll watch the lottery drawing and speed down there and buy some tickets before they draw. That's not how it works.
It's not.
Unfortunately.
It's not real time travel. I'm surprised there's not more parties on the fall back night, right? Because you race an hour and relive it, right? It's like a mulligan. Nothing you did that first time around counts. You get a do-over.
I think I had a party on the fallback night.
Oh, yeah?
I think I do every year.
Oh, man.
That sounds right.
Mitch.
Where was my invite? Lost in the time warp. I see.
Why do I think the night of the Skittles vodka was one of those?
Oh, that was Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
because that's when my mom brought over those enchiladas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Because my mother is trying to kill me.
I'm surprised you remember.
She brought over Skittles vodka and enchiladas. Because she is a demon. I am beset by her.
In grad school, some of my colleagues and I were going out for Cinco de Mayo. We started at a friend's apartment and did some pre-gaming, and then we went to Hacienda. And when we got there, this little Asian girl in our program named, well, maybe I shouldn't say. Anyway, as soon as we got there, she passed out at the bar. And my friend said to me, Mitch, can you just carry her back? And I said, sure. So me, a 6'6" giant, is carrying an unconscious Asian woman out of this bar. And two cops stopped me. And they're like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I was going to put her in my back seat. And I know that that's not a helpful explanation to what is going on. But, I'm impaired too. And like, we just kind of stare at each other for a minute. And then friends see what's going on and they come and they try to explain. And they let me just carry her off. So it all worked out. Yeah.
My experience with the police in those situations is they don't want to get involved. And so like the barest hint of an excuse for them to like get the fuck out of there, They take it, no questions asked.
This person doesn't need to drive anywhere.
Mhm.
I'm going to make sure they don't.
That would have been a good explanation had I thought of it, but I did not.
I only had to carry one person out of a. Actually, it wasn't even out of the bar. I just had to carry him out of a bathroom.
That wasn't me.
No, it was not you. This was an incredibly long time ago. Like 95? 94? No, it would have been 95. It was 1995. Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of sloppy friends who needed some help.
Yeah, I had a female friend pass out in a bathroom stall, and like some of our other friends were like, we need to get her out of the bathroom. Like, I am a male and that is a female bathroom. So like we had to get a bouncer and a couple of women. Like once the other women in the bar knew what was going on, because it was like a night spot, so there was a ton of people there. So like they like lined up, they like made a path in the bathroom of women. Somebody crawled under the door, got her dressed, and opened the door, picked her up, slung her over my shoulder. It's like, all right, where are we going? It's like, let's just get her to a booth so we can just feed her water. So like a couple hours later, she was able to stumble out to a car so somebody could drive her home. But yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Good movie. Werewolves Within is worth a watch.
Yep.
Next week we will watch another alliterative movie. Big Bug.
Big Bug.
All right.
Now, when you watch a foreign film like Big Bug, which apparently is French, do you watch it in French with English subtitles, or are you going to watch the English dub?
I will probably watch the English dub.
I will watch it in French with subtitles.
Oh, I'll be excited. I'm going to watch it in Korean with English subtitles. No, I'm just kidding. I'll do no such thing. But
I'm going to watch it in German with French subtitles.
If there's an Esperanto language version, I would watch that. I do have some Esperanto language films.
I think for me, it depends on how much, what time of day I watch it and what else I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
If like I'm by myself and it's the middle of the afternoon, I'd probably watch it with English subtitles. If I'm doing anything else or if it's late at night, I'm going to be watching it in English with English dub. Like I just know I'm going to lose too much or lose focus or just fall asleep.
Sure. Interesting. Well, that'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm excited.
All right. We'll talk about it next week.
Cool. See you then.
See you guys.